Hey, good evening, everyone, on a Tuesday with me, Magdalena, founder of Hormones Balance. And this week, I'm still going to be talking about estrogen dominance, this time in a little bit different way. When I was talking to my customer support team about some of the questions that are coming in, they said, it would be really helpful if we could show our participants on what does the program look like on the inside. And that's really what I want to show you today, because we get a lot of questions saying, is this really going to help me? And the truth of the matter is that, first of all, it is your decision if you were to apply the learnings 100%. And, one of the things that I have found, the women who are most compliant are the ones who get the best results. Surprise, right? Not really. And so the same thing is with this program, but I would want to just show you how comprehensive it is. And, there's a few emails, for example, that came in that said, I'm working with a functional doctor. I've got fibroids. I got fibroids. I got endometriosis. I got amenorrhea, which is lack of periods. I've got menarrhea, which is very heavy periods. Whatever those symptoms are. And by the way, if you are watching this video about me talking about estrogen dominance for the first time, you probably lack the sense of context. And so perhaps start off with some of the videos I did for the past week or so about estrogen dominance. And so if you go to the left side on my Facebook page, there is going to be Facebook Lives or live videos or something, and watch those ones that I talk about 3 different types of estrogen dominance. What are the symptoms of estrogen dominance? And then I also talked about what are the anti-foods and superfoods that really help estrogen dominance, because I think that might be a better starting point. And if you've watched all the other ones, then this is really like a part 2, if you will. So, the question we got was from someone, and this is a number of emails came in that said, I'm working with a functional doctor and he or she has given me DIM for the whole list of host of symptoms that I have from estrogen dominance. And, I think it's a great start, better DIM than DIM as in DIM, diallyl methane. That's also found in cruciferous vegetables and as well as broccoli sprouts. But, is that enough? And the answer is for a lot of women, that a supplement alone isn't going to make that much a little bit of a difference, but not entirely. And DIM also works only on phase 2 of the liver detoxification, doesn't work on phase 1, which is quite important when it comes to estrogen detoxification. So this is the reason why I thought, because I've spent the past 10 years researching estrogen dominance, selfishly so at first for myself, because of my history, my whole family having estrogenic cancer and dying from them, including a couple of aunts in their prime time of their early 50s. I inherited both genes from both parents that are highly unbeneficial when it comes to clearing estrogen, and that's why I'm at a very high risk of estrogenic cancers. At the worst case, and in the best case, I'm basically struggling with estrogen detoxification on a daily basis. So this is the reason why when I researched all of that and I have this knowledge and I realized not many people are talking about it in a comprehensive, actually no one is talking about it in as much of a comprehensive way, the way I do. And combining the changes in diet, also incorporating herbs, the power of herbs, supplements, but also essential oils, castor oil packs, detoxification, lymphatic massages, right? So very, very comprehensive approach to the different symptoms. So instead of talking too much, why don't I just show you what the program looks like on the inside? And by the way, I'll post the link in just a second. I'm just doing the Facebook Live alone today. So it's gonna be, hi there, you guys, I can see. I'm gonna take your questions in just a moment. So just hang in there. And I'm just gonna quickly make post for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's a way to preview the program, right? And you can preview it with a lot of the content. Not all the content is open for previewing. And I think the preview gives a really good idea of the depth and the quality of the content that's there and whether or not it's going to help you. But I thought I'll just show you all the way inside and what it looks like. Taking an example, maybe you guys can tell me what would you like me to show you, because there's different protocols that we have. So let me do a share screen from my Zoom here so that you can see. Okay, so when you purchase the full program, right, you will get access to, first of all, to all the 3 modules that I organized it. And the first one is getting started, to kind of give you the sense of context. What is estrogen dominance and what are you working with, right? Then we're going to move on to foundational protocols, which is predominantly your gut liver, sugar balance health, that are fundamental to estrogen dominance. That's why, you know, the early example I gave, that somebody goes to see a functional doc and is given a DIM without making any dietary changes. That DIM supplement, like any other supplement, might work for a month or 2 and then stops working or doesn't work at all if you don't make diet changes. It's just as simple as that. That's why I think supplements are an amazing add-on to protocols, but they are not, them themselves alone a lot of times don't work. And then I want to show you some specific add-on protocols that are aligned with very specific symptoms that you might be experiencing. So let me start off first from here, and that is getting started. So the first lecture is explaining how to use this program to get the most out of it. My struggles with estrogen dominance, and I've had it ever since I was a young girl without even realizing that that's what it was. And then I talk about symptoms of estrogen dominance. We go deeper into that. I explain how we develop the recipes and what's the best way to use the meal plans. And the meal plans and all that are in the cookbook that, for those of you who start the preview, and if you join the full program within 72 hours, we'll ship to you the physical copy of the book. Otherwise, everybody gets a PDF version, whether you buy it early or later. And then in lecture 5, I talk about the different 3 types of estrogen dominance, which I think is really interesting because some women get really frustrated saying, you know, I thought estrogen dominance was about not enough progesterone. And then I add a progesterone in and nothing, like all my symptoms are still there. Why? It's probably because you have the other 2 types of estrogen dominance. In lecture 6, we cover about identical hormones, my take on it, whether you should or should not take them. And there's not a clear yes or no, it kind of depends. And I give the guidelines how to do that. And then there's a whole lecture that talks about lab testing for estrogen dominance, not just hormones, but you know, there's a lot of different deficiencies in, for example, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D3 that impact your ability to detox estrogen. So we'll give you the full set of labs, including, for those of you, as part of the bonus, you get a printout you can take to your doctor. And if you don't want to deal with a doctor, there is a place that you can order labs yourself, and we'll give you the link. And then lecture 8, we have stories of our other participants in the past who have done my protocols and their stories, how they've recovered. So under every, let me go back here. After every lecture, there are links that are just very quickly for you to go and refer to. There is an audio, there is a transcript of this talk. So if you're more of a reader than like for example, I prefer to read rather than watch videos. So that's an option. And then a copy of the slides here for you. So let me take you next to the foundational protocols, which is really the foundation. You know, it's the same way, the analogy I would use here. It's like if you, like I live in a house that's on the side of a ridge, you know, I'm on a steep hill. If the foundation here wasn't strong, and obviously I got a structural engineer to come and evaluate the house before I bought it, you know, had it not been strong, there's no way, no matter how beautiful it is, no matter how amazing of a view I have right in front of me right now, I would have never bought this house, right? Because if the foundation is weak, you're basically pretty much screwed. whatever we want to do, right? So the same way I like to use the analogy of, for those of you who are seasoned gardeners, your garden can only be as lush and healthy, and your crops as abundant and healthy as the soil that you prepared, right? And so here I'm talking about the preparation of the soil. And the fascinating thing is that a lot of women who do the foundational protocols and follow that would actually not even need to go on to the add-on protocols because most of the symptoms start resolving really quickly. So we start off with digestion and estrogen. This is the longest lecture that goes on for an hour, where I talk about the importance of the microbiome, so the gut bacteria and how they metabolize estrogen and what we know about them today, the type of probiotics you can be using and rotating in order to create a diversity of bacteria in the gut. I talk about bowel movement, constipation, what is a healthy poop and what's not, how to overcome constipation. Constipation, you guys, is really important. very detrimental if you have estrogen dominance because you're recirculating all the estrogens over and over again instead of evacuating them. Also about low stomach acid, about helping you to digest proteins and fats are so important for hormone production, right? So all of this, that stuff is really in here. You know, something that a lot of functional doctors, and when you're seeing a doc, they just don't have the time for it. And that's understandable because how much can you sit and talk about with something like that with a patient? So as always, under every video, you have a whole bunch of links that makes it easy for you to go and check them out, an audio transcript and the slides for this lecture. The next lecture is going to be about the most favorite topic, at least for me. I feel like when you gently detoxify your liver, you really take care of a lot of the symptoms of estrogen dominance really, really quickly. And so, yeah, and here we have diet changes as well as herbs and a few supplements that can be added on. Lecture 3 covers sugar balance and estrogen. So this is really about addressing sugar cravings, somebody who's got prediabetes, diabetes, if you're hypoglycemic, all of that needs to be fixed to be able to detox your estrogen as well. In lecture 4, we talk about superfoods and anti-foods, and then we have detoxifying. Oh, by the way, before I forget, so these first four lectures, you might be like, oh my God, so what do I do with my gut and then the liver and then the blood sugar levels? Like, this is so complicated, right? There's so many things to do. Well, here's the kicker, and here's the great news. Everything that we've incorporated here in terms of the recipes and the meal plans for you, guess what? They take care of your gut health, liver, and sugar balance immediately. So you don't even have to crack your head in that space. It's all done for you. So immediately when you eat that meal plan, it's like you're immediately complying to all of that without even have to think about it. Okay, so we made it really simple in this program. So, I think once you get your diet dialed in, I feel like adding clean products like xenoestrogens, so like detoxifying a lot of the products in your house, including skincare, house cleaning products, kitchen stuff it's just a really great way of getting rid of xenoestrogens that that appear in the body in a woman in the form of estradiol, which is that aggressive estrogen. And so I'll give you a lot of solutions here, inexpensive, like how to substitute them. Lecture 6 is about baseline supplements. Lecture 7 is sleep for estrogen reset and giving you these nice hacks, how to hack your sleep, which is pretty awesome. And then at lecture 8, one of my favorites too, castor packs, saunas, and how to do lymphatics, especially for women, for example, with a lot of congestion here, which you can manifest in form of fibrocystic breasts, thyroid nodules. Lymphatic movement is going to be really important, and some of you might have seen the lymphatic massage that I did in video, so that's part of it. But I coupled that up with using some essential oils as well that are known for moving lymphatic, the lymphs. And then in the last module here, lecture here, I talk about birth control pills and hormone replacement therapy, and what it does to a woman's body. Okay, so the next module is the add-on protocols. The add-on protocols are protocols that you do when you are done with the foundations protocol. So what my recommendations for you, go through the meal plans, and we have 2 weeks of recipes here for you. They're really simple stuff that it takes you. We try to create recipes with 5 ingredients, maybe a little bit more if it's a few spices here and there. That takes you no more than 30 minutes at any recipe at any time. That was my brief to the recipe development team. And so it's really simple, it's really practical. You should be able to follow it to the T. If you don't, it's okay, just as long as you subscribe to the principles. And needless to say, all the recipes are free of gluten, dairy, corn, soy. There's no nightshade vegetables, are very low in sugar. And most importantly, they incorporate all the superfoods for estrogen dominance. So in this module, this is where you come into very specific protocols. And let me see what you guys are saying online here. Whether you have, see, I have limited viewing when I do Facebook Live, unfortunately. So I won't be able to know what is if you guys have picked any particular add-on protocol here. But to give you an idea, then we go much deeper into, if you have fibroids, what else can you do? If you have endometriosis, what else can you do? If you suffer from fibrocystic or lumpy breasts, what else? Hot flashes. We have a protocol for amenorrhea, which is absent period, for irregular periods, for women who have dysmenorrhea and PMS, for women who have menarrhea, heavy periods, which is, also very often present together with fibroids, women who have thyroid nodules, women who have suffered from infertility and miscarriages. What can you do here if the infertility is caused by estrogen dominance? Because there can be a lot of other causes for infertility. Cellulite and hip fat, which is, by the way, cellulite and hip fat, a lot of it is about lymphatic movement as well. Lecture 13 is about breast cancer protocol, and lecture 14 is high testosterone, like in the case of PCOS. So maybe let me just show you a protocol for fibroids. And obviously I'm not gonna play, the whole video is 20 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just show you the slides. We make the slides really simple so that if you decide to print them out, you don't waste your ink on images. So here's a little bit of education of the different types of fibroids that they are there. What do you need to know about? And this is pretty much a standard format for all of the add-on protocols, right? And then we go into what are the symptoms of fibroids, what are the main causes. Whenever you see a little black book on the left side here, that means that we have medical resources for you to reference. So you know that there is actual science behind these claims. And then I discuss what are the traditional treatments that you are being offered. And then we go into solutions. So the great news is fibroids can shrink. And I've seen this over and over again. So this slide really shows you that your step one is to implement the Estrogen Reset Foundation protocol. That's the one I talked about, the gut, liver, sugar balance thing. And then step two, then you go into the add-on protocol only as a step two, okay? And so here we first I do the recap again of the foundation. What is the foundation? And then we go into the protocol. So for example, this is just to give you an example, like, what kind of enzymes do we want to add in here that dissolves fibroids, replenishing on iron, right? And adding turmeric and magnesium, and the list goes on. And it gives you ideas for, like, if you do decide to add a supplement to that, like this serapeptase enzyme, for example, is huge when it comes to fibroids. And it amazes me how few doctors know about these kind of peptides, these kind of enzymes. Then we have, curcumin and magnesium, different types of magnesium you can add on. Let's see, what is this? It's still loading because I'm sharing this on with you online, so it might take a while. And then we have castor oil packs, which are hugely beneficial for women with fibroids. I also have, with every condition, I also have an herbal strategy for you. And instead of giving you formulations, which can be really tricky, and sometimes I have specific products like herbs that you can buy online on Amazon or whatever, and I give you the links. In this particular here add-on, I couldn't find a product that was available, but then I would want to point you to work with a local herbalist, and you can print out this page and take it to see her, and then work with herbs that are liver detoxifying, so the so-called cholagogues. And then you also work with hormone modulators. So those are like chasteberry, Vitex will be an amazing one. This is a really important one, uterine astringents. Some of these herbs, like especially yarrow, cinnamon, cranesbill, red raspberry, will basically cut off the blood supply to the fibroid. And when you cut off the blood supply, then the fibroid starts shrinking. This is in conjunction with everything else you're doing with the diet changes, right? And when you do that, it's just like the changes are so quick, especially when you kind of attack the enemy. If you want to look at the fibroid as like a little unnecessary villain in there, then if you're attacking it from all angles, the results are really quick. And then also having a uterine tonic like blue cohosh, motherwort, red raspberry leaf as well, that tonify the uterus, meaning they correct the tissue of the uterus so that it's plump and it's healthy. Because when you cut off the blood supply from the astringents, you also want to tonify the muscle. So, a skillful herbalist would know how to use these herbs strategically to create a formulation specifically for you. And most of the time, it's going to be in the form of a tincture. So this is, this is just one example of what a protocol looks like. And I believe this is the most comprehensive program you'll find in the market. Even in terms of books, there's a few books on estrogen dominance. They don't even touch the wealth and the depth of content we have here to really help any woman who's struggling with, sometimes it's just annoying symptoms of estrogen dominance all the way to debilitating and life-threatening, like with cancers. I'm just going to show you right on top here, we have a recipe ebook for you. So the book that I was just showing you right here, this is a physical copy. This is a PDF copy that everybody gets. We have a supplement guide here for you that just basically simplifies everything and organizes things by condition, so that's just easier for you to pull it out. Then we have our shopping resources, where basically we have meal plans for you and shopping lists and such. And then we have other, I would call it more tools and resources, so meal plans, the seed rotation guide, superfoods printable poster, food mood poop journal, in-out detox guide, chemicals blacklist, DIY and cleaning products, it's all in here. And then you have medical resources for those of you who are maybe practitioners or you want to have like a little bit of more backup information of Charlie is munching on a bone, just as I'm doing Facebook Live. It's basically, as you can see it's organized by lecture, and it shows you where all the claims coming from and all the research that we used in putting this program together. It's a very long document, it's a lot of research in here. And it's research only done on either humans or monkeys. I don't use research that was done on rats. Okay, so as you can see, this is pretty comprehensive, and I'm just gonna take a look at what questions do you guys have. Is there anything? Nelly's asking, would it be a good idea to detox before starting the program? No, I wouldn't say that. Actually, this program is a form of detoxification, if you will. What I don't like about, for some people, and I leave it for you to decide, there are some people who will do a detox very restrictive, right? For like 10 days, 5 days, 10 days, 12 days, whatever. And then right after this is over, they kind of go back to binging and being really unkind to themselves. And so I don't quite love detoxes in that way. Actually, this estrogen reset already is a form of detoxification, because a lot of the things you're going to be using, including the herbs, including the bitters before meals and stuff like that, all of that is going to help you tremendously. Gina is saying, I'm signing up for the program. You should join me. Oh, you tagged your friend. Thank you. I think it would be very beneficial for you as well. Yeah, if one of the things that I'm going to send out an email tomorrow that's called Why I'm Pissed. And it's kind of an angry title. But you know me, I'm not an angry person. I am, however, angry with the institution, with the medical institutions. And this is Charlie, in case you don't know him yet. Charlie is the best trooper ever. He's a lovely, lovely Westie. Very patient with me in the past week. He hasn't been seeing much of his mama. So, I'm just angry with the medical institutions for what it offers. Like, when you look at the medical research that I cited in creating this program, I didn't get this stuff like out of nowhere. This is all researched. And what is mind-boggling to me is that you go and see a doc who is a super smart person who went to medical school for 10 years, is $200,000 in debt, is one of the highest IQs in the country. And yet he or she will tell you that if you have a fibroid, especially that it's a larger one, your only option is hysterectomy, right? Or if you have endometriosis, there's absolutely nothing that can be done. Or if you have lumpy boobs, so we just wait and see. And that pisses me off, because there is so much that we can do. And, and typically it takes about 40 years for us to turn around in medicine and start viewing things differently. The same way, back in the day, I don't know whether you guys know this, but back in the day, they used to x-ray women's hips in order to see if they are wide enough to deliver on its own, or if she needed a surgery, and needed a cesarean. I mean, how barbaric was that? And mind you, back in the day, x-rays were really high radiation levels, right? So this is, so this, I'm just hoping that is it going to take 40 years for them to realize that you don't have to remove our thyroids and uteruses and breasts and ovaries to give us the quality of life? And that's the reason why I'm so passionate about doing this work. It's also super personal, as you know, for me. Just 2 years ago, when I went to see my functional doc, when she looked at my genetic reports, she said, have you ever had breast cancer, right? And I thought, wow, that's a pretty intense question. And I said, why you ask? I said, no, I didn't, but why do you ask? And she said, well, typically when I see women with your kind of genes, they would have had a breast cancer by now. And at that time I was 44, and 46 now, right? So, it's that kind of thing. And I think you can prevent it, you can reverse it, even if you have really bad genetics, the way I do. And furthermore, just live a bloody awesome life, because I think that's what this is all about. Somebody's asking about, yeah, Kimberly is saying it's not about care, it's about the money. I know. It's just that, Kimberly, I think I have a lot of friends who are medical doctors, and most of them don't go in there because of the money. They go there. I understand the money is in the pharmaceuticals for sure, and the pharmaceutical companies sponsor med school, so they're kind of indoctrinated right from day one. But really, what it is, I always wonder, why not go and do some research? I remember my friend Isabella Wentz, Dr. Isabella Wentz, when she was first diagnosed with Hashimoto's, she went to PubMed, and the first paper she discovered was about how selenium can help you lower your TPO antibodies. And she was like, I went to med school, for pharmacy school, for whatever, 5 years. And they never talked about the selenium can lower my antibodies. So it was just that kind of discovery. And I always wonder, you have an OBGYN, and then you have a woman who walks in who's got 20 days of periods every day, and all you can give her is birth control pills that are making her sick, that are making her boobs lumpy and having no sex drive, which is kind of ironic, right? Like, here you are taking birth control pills not to get pregnant. You don't even want to have sex because you're feeling so shit, right? So, and then somebody was asking about, Gina is asking, how do I do this? Do what? Gina, if you're interested in joining the program, just start off with the preview and see whether this is the right fit for you. So just go to hormonesbalance.com/ER. I posted that link, that should be on top of the page somewhere. And then just see the preview, and then you're gonna have 3 days. We'll give you a timer there to join the full program and enjoy some benefits. Somebody's asking about Candida. Is this Candida friendly? It's not Candida focused per se. I do use a bit of fermented foods in the recipes. We do use some grains. There's a little bit of, sweet treats here and there, very low in sugar, but it's not a strict Candida protocol. So if you are hoping to be super rigid on a Candida protocol, with this protocol, that's not a fit. But I feel like it's a really good fit. If you have a little bit of Candida, then it's not going to make it worse by any means. Okay, it's probably going to help you, if anything. Kimberly saying, I'm on birth control for 8 years. I'm scared to open that module. Yeah, and Kimberly, don't be, because the thing is that every woman responds a little bit different to birth control pills. I know women who are on it for years, for decades sometimes, and then give it up, and within 3 months they're pregnant. They have the healthiest, happiest babies. And there's others, and that was me, which was a sign already of estrogen dominance, getting on it and feeling really sick really, really quickly, feeling so off. And then I got off it within a couple of months, and I had melasma, which is the discoloration, brown discoloration all around my face, which is pretty horrible. So yeah, so it's it's not that bad for everyone. And I talk about just what birth control pills do to women. If you ever have problems getting off birth control and you have a lot of side effects that are really, debilitating, then I do recommend Dr. Jolene Brighton's book called Beyond the Pill, where she has specific protocols on how to restore the balance in the body using predominantly supplements and diet, which is not very much. Her diet recommendations are exactly the same as mine. She uses a little bit different supplements, and she's a little bit heavier on supplements, because that's really what the body needs to replenish after birth control pills. LV, as Diego is asking, if we pass the 72-hour window, can we still actual book? Is it too late to get it? Sorry, but didn't join in time. Yeah, you know, email my support team, see what they say. We like to honor those people who do make a purchase within 72 hours. If you give us a good reason, then I let my team decide. Donna is saying we have to do our own research and not completely rely on doctor's advice on everything. It's true. It's just, the only thing, Donna, is that the question is, does everybody have the time for this, right? And the answer is most of the time, no. Plus, research can also be fudged. I can find research that you may not know was, for example, sponsored by Kellogg's or Johnson & Johnson or Unilever, Procter & Gamble, whatever. That will show you that drinking cola is actually kind of beneficial for you. So there's bullshit like that out there too. Debbie Sonier saying, fighting lupus flare up, I'm sure hormones are out of whack. Yeah, Debbie, so, lupus is an autoimmune disease, a pretty serious one. I'm wondering whether you've done anything to help yourself. This protocol is not specifically for lupus. With people with lupus, and a very close friend of mine had lupus, and I've sent her in the direction of Dr. Terry Walls, who had MS, and she was totally debilitated. She's 90% a normal, healthy person right now, and she did it with a very targeted diet. And so for things like lupus, I would recommend to check out Terry Walls. All right, let me refresh the page and see whether I can see any more questions coming in. And if not, then what I'm going to do is I'll definitely go back and take a look at what you guys are saying when I hang up and hopefully address that. So I hope this Facebook Live was helpful for you, and just to see a little bit under the hood what we have. I'm super passionate about this work, and I am absolutely positive that if you apply what I teach in that program, you will not only reverse a lot of the symptoms of estrogen dominance, but you're gonna feel just freaking amazing. All right, everybody, have a lovely rest of the evening, and post your questions. If I don't get to answer them, I will do so later tonight or tomorrow. Bye for now.